So you were in a very, very rich environment in terms of music.
Yeah, it was, uh, you know, before I went to high school, I got my real education at summer camps. So every summer I'd get my jazz and my music fix, and then I'd spend the rest of the year kind of dreaming about going to summer camp again
Wow,
and practicing and listening to records. I mean, you know, if you're at all interested in music, you really want to listen to music. I mean, that's how you learn the language. And John Faddis, he's a great trumpet player and a really brilliant clinician. You know, he does music workshops and stuff. And I just heard him speak last week. And John pointed out something very interesting. You know, when we were young, you'd buy an album. It was on a piece of vinyl, and you'd play it on a record player. And there'd be maybe 40 minutes of music total. And records came in these large sleeve cardboard containers that had lots of photos and lots of text. You know, there was room for it. They had to fill up this packaging space, and so you would read everything that was on this album cover. And you'd listen to the record over and over again because it was only 35, 40 minutes, and you'd saved up your money for that record. But you really learned it, you know, and you really learned what those musicians were saying, or what they were playing. Nowadays, you know, it's great. The internet's fantastic, and iPods are incredible. But how much music do you really get to know when you've got 10,000 songs?
Yeah,
You know, under your thumb.
Yeah,
right?
that's interesting.
Yeah, and I hadn't thought of that, and so you gotta pay a little attention to that, because you can have a passing acquaintance with a lot of things. With my students here at the University of Southern California, I realized I was giving them too much to listen to. I thought they would love this embarrassment of riches. It was like the best of all the albums I had as a kid. And then as the year would go by, I'd say, hey, so tell me what you thought about such and such track. I haven't listened to it yet. And wow, it's too much.
Yeah.
With everything else going on. So the one thing that I'm discovering, if you want to get better at what you do, either you can figure it out yourself, or maybe a teacher can help you. And this is what teachers should do. You help the young musician focus and really zero in on a particular song or style or drum beat, and then have a short-term goal. Let's learn how to do this one thing, and then combine that with something else. You know, otherwise it could seem like Mount Everest. You know, it's just wow. How do I learn all this stuff?
Well, you know, I was thinking about all of this, and I'm really concerned about one thing. How are we going to keep jazz alive in our schools today?
Well, I discovered jazz at home. You know, my father played it. I certainly played a fair amount of jazz around our house here, and my kids like jazz, but they don't play it. Go figure. But at least they had a chance to experience it, and I think they have a pretty good taste in music.